Hi, I'm Kathryn. Welcome to Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. I have decided to make a series on something that I find really important and valuable, and making my channel worth more than just a crime channel, but a channel that does something good. I am, as I've said before, a registered nurse, and I specialize in high-risk pregnancy and OB. I think we don't pay enough attention to the possible scenarios that happen to women after pregnancy, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and what the end result can be if it's not noticed. This story is extremely sad, and it's very up to date. It just happened last week. And a mother that became basically delusional winds up killing her two little tiny baby girls. Welcome to Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Let's talk about Amanda Sharp-Jefferson, 26, of Las Vegas, Nevada. Hi, and welcome back. I'm Kathryn. Amanda Sharp-Jefferson, 26, of Las Vegas, Nevada, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder on this past Friday, November 6th, in connection with the deaths of her 2 infant daughters. Her 1-year-old daughter, Rose Singleton, and 2-month-old baby by the name of Lily were found dead in Amanda's apartment. They were found dead around 12 o'clock noon last Friday, November 6, 2020. The girl's father, Jaykwon Singleton, found the precious little girls' bodies stacked on top of each other inside a bassinet type crib or swing. There's some counts called a swing, others a bassinet, on Friday, according to law enforcement. He told the police he asked Amanda why the girls' bodies were stacked on top of each other in the baby swing, in the bassinet, in the corner of the room. And he said she kept shushing him, like, shh, don't. And he was confused. At one point, Amanda told him that the children's organs were worth a lot of money. The couple had been together since 2018, and they hadn't had any issues until recently Amanda started talking about the alter spirit world. Now stick with me on this, because I have a theory which I think is probably correct that we'll go into at the end of me explaining this horrible case to you. When he went to check on the kids, he realized they weren't breathing and their bodies were cold. He told Las Vegas Fox 5 he found them dead in the apartment, and he believed that the mother had drowned them. And she, to law enforcement in the arrest affidavit, claimed she didn't even have any children. And the father told police she was acting strange a few weeks earlier, but seemed fine the night before this happened. He saw her the evening prior to the girls' bodies being discovered and said she was fine. The police in Las Vegas, they arrested Amanda Sharp-Jefferson. She's 26 years old, and they did arrest her on 2 counts of murder. Her daughters were 1-year-old Rose and 2-month-old Lily. The apartment is in Las Vegas near Desert Inn Road and Maryland Parkway. Police said they received a 911 call from the father, and his name again is Jaykwon Singleton, and they heard him say she drowned them. In the arrest affidavit, actually, it says she asked how much the children's body parts were worth, how much their organs were worth. She was granted a public defender And a bail hearing was scheduled for November 12th. And they did schedule her preliminary hearing for 9 a.m. November 24th.
Mother accused of killing her 2 children appeared in court this morning. Clark County prosecutors say 26-year-old Amanda Sharp-Jefferson drowned her victims and then denied knowing them. Bianca Holman is following the case.
Amanda Sharp-Jefferson is facing 2 counts of murder in the death of her 1-year-old Rose Singleton and her 2-month-old Lily Singleton. According to an arrest report, Jefferson told the children's father she drowned them. Both girls were discovered by their father, Jaykwon Singleton. Singleton told police she was acting strange a few weeks earlier, but seemed fine when he saw her the evening prior. Police say Sharp-Jefferson denied having any children and said someone must have put them in her apartment. At first, Sharp-Jefferson was not in the courtroom. Her lawyer claimed that there was concerns about the reaction to the allegations. She eventually appeared and said she understood the charges and also understood the next date for her scheduled preliminary hearing.
I do not find that the concerns expressed, at least at this juncture, would outweigh the public's right to at least view electronically the arraignment.
Sharp-Jefferson's lawyer also filed 2 motions. The first is to preserve evidence, the second regarding bail. Sharp-Jefferson will return to court on November 24th. Reporting from the Regional Justice Center, Bianca Holman.
To back up a minute, Jaykwon came home and he wound up saying he put his stuff away, and then he went to check on the kids and he was like, wow, that's weird, they're on top of each other. And he said it didn't hit him right away, but he touched one of them and they were cold. And then he realized that they were most likely dead. First he called his mother and then he called 911. The report says he can be heard asking Amanda, what did you do? And then he can be heard saying, what? And after a brief silence, he tells the 911 operator that she drowned them. He said she kept shushing me. At one point made a statement that the children's organs were worth a lot of money, according to the arrest report. Medical professionals arrived on scene and they did pronounce the babies dead at the scene.
As Amanda Sharp-Jefferson sits behind bars tonight, accused of murdering her 2 babies, her husband and their father, Jaykwon, told me he's just trying to stay positive.
Lily. Hi, baby.
We had them 11 months apart because we wanted them to be close and just grow together and just live forever.
Instead, the lives of 2-month-old Lily and 1-year-old Rose were tragically cut short.
Rose was my big juice and Lily was my brown sugar.
Jaykwon Singleton told me he left them with their mom, Amanda Sharp-Jefferson, Thursday night so he could be with his other daughter, Violet, at his grandmother's.
I see Rose, I see Amanda, I see Lily. Everything's good. I was like around 7-something. I'm giving them kisses, I give them hugs. I'm like, I'll see y'all tomorrow.
That was the last time he saw his 2 youngest daughters alive. When he got back to the apartment around noon on Friday,
I see Rose and Lily like over there.
He said they were in the living room, laying down. Rose was on top of Lily. Amanda was home.
Take this coat off, put it on my bed and stuff. And I'm like, but as I'm doing that, she's like, shh, shh, shh.
He said he thought they were asleep until...
Feel Lily's head. I'm like, she's kind of cold.
After a few minutes of trying to get a response, it clicked, and he confronted Amanda.
I'm asking, like, what did you do to my daughter? What did you do to my daughter? And she's like, shh, shh.
Jaykwon said he called his mom, then called 911. He said Amanda never did.
She's super calm, cool, and collective about it. Literally putting her clothes on, nothing, talking about can we sell the organs and stuff.
He told me he thinks the girls were drowned.
That day when I seen them, I died. I still feel dead. I feel blank, I'm numb.
In Amanda's arrest report, it said she told officers she didn't know Jaykwon and denied having any children.
She was going through a spiritual, a spiritual and soul type of thing where she thought she wasn't in this reality. She was in the spiritual and soul reality.
He said the spiritual side all started a few weeks ago.
I feel like maybe me not coming back that night got to her.
Despite what his wife is accused of.
I forgive her, I love her. I have to act like they're still here because the only way I can carry on their legacy is just like, Just stay positive.
He told me he, Amanda, Rose, and Lily went everywhere together.
If I walk around with anger, hatred, I'm not going to be able to get through this situation.
Now he walks alone, without his big juice or brown sugar.
Life will never be the same.
Jaykwon told me he hopes people hear this story and use it as a reminder to check on your friends and family, mental health, and don't brush off red flags. Meanwhile, Amanda is still behind bars tonight. She was denied bail, but she'll be back in court tomorrow. Jaykwon told me he'll continue to support her. Reporting live, I'm Kyla Gaylor, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
Jaykwon, the dad, told the police that everything seemed normal and he was confused about what happened, but he does talk about these red flags that she was talking about the spirit world and him having an affair with a spirit woman or spirit wife. He had left that night and went to spend the night with his grandmother who was caring for his other child. He has a child a little bit older that was living with his grandmother. And he spent the night with that daughter. Her name's Violet. So he returned the next day to Amanda, and this is what he found. He did say, again, their relationship was normal until she started talking about this alter spirit world. Now remember that, because I'm going to make a point about that. That's why I've repeated it a few times. Alter spirit world or spirit wife or cheating with a spirit wife, there's significance to that. Now, after he called 911, Amanda's family also showed up and they were mad. They were angry and they were showing a lot of rage and anger, according to the news reports, at Amanda, because obviously this is a shock and it's scary and you wouldn't imagine that somebody would do this, right? So her family was very upset as well. Police said they took her into custody, drove her to headquarters to question her, as well as to protect her, her safety. In her statement to the police, she denied knowing her significant other, Jaykwon Singleton. She also denied having children. And she told the investigators that she lived by herself in her apartment. And she said she woke up on Friday to find 2 children in her living room who appeared to be dead. She told the police she believed the children, their toys, their strollers, were all planted in the apartment by someone. So showing some significant paranoia and delusions, right? I don't have children. Somebody put them here. Somebody put the stuff here. I've been framed, basically. According to police, she did not call for help. Instead, she took a shower. And she described the children as they're of darker skin, and one of the kids to have foam coming out of its mouth. And Amanda noticed that, she said she noticed the children. Amanda said, I noticed the children, but instead of calling the police, she said, I decided to take a shower because, well, I like showers. Investigators are still working on definitively determining the cause of death of both children, though the Lieutenant Ray Spencer of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said detectives have a very good idea what the cause of injury was for Rose. While it's not known if Amanda suffered from a mental illness, Spencer said he would definitely not rule that out at this point. I believe this is probably an episode of postpartum psychosis. Amanda doesn't have a record of being arrested or anything violent. The court records list only one prior arrest for her. She pleaded no contest in January of 2017 to a misdemeanor destruction of property charge, and that case was later dismissed. Now, they did allow the cameras in the courtroom, and I can show you her on that. She stood by the doors of the courtroom as the judge made sure she understood the charges filed against her, and her attorney did attempt to make the argument against media being in the arraignment, but the judge allowed it. Her attorney also made 2 motions, one requesting that Jefferson have the right to get bail and another preserve evidence. Her next court date is set for November 24th, 2020. So, like I said, here's my thoughts on what happened. As I mentioned, it sounds to me as if she was suffering from postpartum psychosis. According to experts and the website postpartum.net, and my personal experience as a high-risk OB nurse and 18 years in nursing, mainly as a registered nurse working with pregnant moms and moms, postpartum moms, but mostly pregnant moms since 2002, I have a few experiences with patients suffering from postpartum depression, but even some that have suffered from postpartum psychosis, where they hear voices, where they talk about it, where they're scared, where they reach out for help. Most of the time, they actually do reach out for help, but some do not. Unfortunately, family members often don't realize what is happening, and this topic definitely needs us to spread awareness. Postpartum psychosis is a rare illness. Compared to the rates of postpartum depression or anxiety, it occurs in approximately 1 to 2 out of every 1,000 deliveries, or approximately 0.1 to 0.2% of births. The onset is usually sudden and most often within 2 weeks of postpartum symptoms. Amanda's baby was only 2 months old, and it sounds like she had had some of these symptoms going on. Symptoms of postpartum psychosis can include delusions or strange beliefs, hallucinations, seeing or hearing things that aren't there, feeling very irritated, hyperactivity, decreased need for or inability to sleep, paranoia and suspicions, rapid mood swings, and sometimes difficulty communicating. The most significant risk factors for the postpartum psychosis are a personal or a family history of bipolar disorder or a previous psychotic episode. Of the women who develop postpartum psychotic episodes, research has suggested that there is approximately a 5% suicide rate and a 4% infanticide rate associated with the illness. So 4% of those that do develop this become suicidal and infanticidal. 5 to 4%. This is because the woman experiencing the psychosis is experiencing a break from reality. In her psychotic state, the delusions and beliefs make sense to her. They feel very real and are often religious. Remember, I told you she was talking about the spiritual stuff. Remember what that baby's father said about her talking about the spirit world. Let's look at that clip.
Amanda never did.
She's super calm, cool, and collective about it. Literally putting her clothes on, nothing, talking about can we sell the organs and stuff.
He told me he thinks the girls were drowned.
That day when I seen them, I died. I still feel dead. I feel blank, I'm numb.
In Amanda's arrest report, it said she told officers she didn't know Jaykwon and denied having any children.
She was going through a spiritual, a spiritual and soul type of thing, where she thought she wasn't in this reality. She was in the spiritual and soul reality.
He said the spiritual side all started a few weeks ago.
I feel like maybe me not coming back that night got to her.
Despite what his wife is accused of.
I forgive her, I love her. I have to act like they're still here because the only way I can carry on their legacy is just just stay positive.
He told me
immediate treatment for a woman going through psychosis is imperative. It's also important to know that many survivors of postpartum psychosis never had delusions containing violent commands. Remember that. Most of them do not have delusions that they need to become violent, or they're being told to be violent, or to hurt themselves, or to hurt their babies. Most of them do not. But the delusions take many forms, and not all of them are destructive. Most women who experience postpartum psychosis don't harm themselves or anyone else. However, there's always the risk of danger, because psychosis includes delusional thinking and irrational judgment. And this is why women with this illness must be quickly assessed, treated, and carefully monitored by trained healthcare perinatal mental health professional. Postpartum psychosis is temporary and it is treatable with professional help. But it's an emergency. And it's essential that you receive immediate help if you are having these symptoms. If you feel you or someone you know may be suffering from this illness, please know that it's not your fault and you are not to blame. Call your doctor or call emergency crisis hotline right away so you can get the help you need. There is a text number for National Crisis Hotline text line. You need to text the word home to 741-741. You can do that from anywhere in the U.S. at any time of day. Also, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. And the website that I referred to earlier is PSI, Postpartum Net, PSI. They also have postpartum psychosis coordinators to provide additional assistance to women and families who are not in an emergency situation, but realize there's some help needed or something going on. They also have online support groups for dads. They have online support groups in Spanish. They have one for Asian moms. And they also have a group, which would have been particularly helpful to Amanda, called Black Mamas Matter support group. They have many more. They even have pregnancy support groups, pregnancy and infant loss support group, and I did put the link below to their website, as well as the suicide hotline number and the text number information in the description of this video. So let's spread awareness. I really want to focus on some of these type of stories because I think they're really important to spread the word. And I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathryn. Please like, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you can get more videos like this. In the comments below, let me know, have you ever experienced any kind of postpartum depression or psychosis, or anyone close to you that has? Do you know anyone? Please comment below and let me know if this has ever affected your life at all personally in any way. And again, please like, please subscribe. And if you want more of these notifications, because I am going to do a series on these type of cases, please ring that bell for notifications so you know when I post one. Again, thank you for being here, and take the time to subscribe. I promise you, it'll be worth it. Take care. Bye-bye.